It's 3:14 a.m. The house is dead silent. You flip the pillow to the cool side, maybe for the third time.
Oh, the cool side of the pillow, the last resort.
Exactly. And you're staring at the ceiling, just tracing patterns that aren't even there. And now you're doing the mental math. You know the one.
I do. The if I fall asleep right now
Yeah.
calculation.
Yes. I can get exactly 3 hours and 12 minutes of sleep before the alarm goes off.
That calculation is, I think, the absolute worst part. It's not just being awake, it's the panic.
Yeah.
It's that 3 a.m. staring contest with the universe. And, well, the universe usually wins.
And that is exactly where we're starting today. We are doing a deep dive into insomnia, but, and I want to be really clear about this, we are not here to give you a list of, I don't know, lavender sprays or tell you to drink warm milk.
Right. We are bypassing the fluff. We're looking at the heavy machinery of sleep today. We want to understand the engine, not just, paint the car.
We've got a serious stack of sources to do that. We're pulling from clinical guidelines from the NHS. We have this really dense but fascinating document, the Clinician's Master Guide to Restorative Sleep Hygiene by Dr. Salem.
Mm-hmm.
And we have actual program data from digital sleep clinics like Sleep Station, Sleepful, and Sleepio.
And what's really interesting about this stack is how they shift the narrative.
Yeah.
It moves away from the idea of sedation, that you need a pill to knock you out, and toward retraining.
A much more active approach. And our mission for this deep dive is pretty simple. We want to debunk this myth that you're broken if you can't sleep, and we're going to walk through what all these sources call the gold standard treatment. It's a protocol called CBTI.
Which stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Insomnia.
Yeah, and looking through Dr. Salem's guide and the Sleep Station stuff, this is not what I expected. Some of these techniques are, well, they're kind of aggressive. They're counterintuitive.
They do feel backwards at first.
Honestly, some of them sound like the exact opposite of what you should do when you're exhausted.
Right. You read it and you think, wait, you want me to spend less time in bed to get more sleep? But our intuition about sleep is usually wrong. To understand why these tricks work, we have to look at the biology first.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because before this, I had a simple model. I get tired, I sleep. If I don't, something is wrong. But Dr. Salem's guide says it's way more mechanical than that.
It is. Dr. Salem breaks it down into the two-process model. So sleep isn't a switch. It's two different biological forces that have to collide at just the right time. System one is your sleep drive.
The guide compares this to hunger, right?
Exactly. Think of it like an appetite.
Yeah.
The longer you go without food, the hungrier you get. Sleep works the same way. From the moment you wake up, a chemical pressure starts building in your brain.
So more time awake means more sleep hunger.
Precisely. That's system one. It's just based on how long you've been awake.
Yeah.
But then you have system two, the body clock, or, the circadian rhythm.
The internal timer.
Right. It's a 24-hour cycle, controlled mostly by light and dark. It tells your body when to be alert and when to release melatonin, pretty much regardless of how tired you feel.
So you can be exhausted, high sleep drive, but if your body clock thinks it's noon, you won't sleep.
Exactly that. The problem of insomnia usually appears when those two systems get out of sync. You might have the hunger for sleep, but the kitchen is closed.
Or the kitchen's open, but you've been snacking all day, so you're not hungry.
That is the perfect analogy. Insomnia is rarely a broken part. It's usually just a timing error.
So before we get to fixing the timing, let's define the beast. The NHS source lists symptoms, and it's a lot broader than just, I can't fall asleep.
Much broader. You have onset insomnia, the tossing and turning at the start. That's what people picture. But then there's maintenance insomnia, waking up multiple times a night.
Or the one I think is the most frustrating, waking up at 4 a.m. way too early and just being wide awake. You can't get back to sleep.
And even if you technically sleep for 7 hours, if you wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck, that's called non-restorative sleep. That's also a form of insomnia.
And the causes are everything from stress and anxiety to, a room that's too hot or even biological shifts like menopause.
And with so many causes, it's easy to think something is physically broken in your brain. I'm defective. This is where I found Dr. Salem's guide, so reassuring.
There's a quote I highlighted. Bad sleep does not mean brain damage. You are not broken. What a relief to read that.
It's massive to hear from a clinician. He says your body knows how to sleep. We just need to remove the interference. It's a mindset shift.
Yeah.
You're not fighting a broken brain. You're untangling a learned habit.
A learned habit. Interesting. Because when you're desperate, the first instinct isn't retrain my brain, it's give me a pill.
Just knock me out, doc.
Yeah, but looking at the NHS guidelines, the whole attitude towards sleeping pills has really shifted.
Drastically. The NHS source is very blunt. GPs are told to rarely prescribe them now. And if they do, it's for just a few days, maybe 2 weeks max. Usually during a crisis, like a bereavement.
Why the change? Is it just the addiction risk?
Dependence is a big part of it, for sure. But there's also the hangover effect, the drowsiness the next day. But the most damning thing is what it does to your sleep architecture.
Right. This is fascinating.
Pills act as a chemical mask. They render you unconscious, but they often suppress the deep restorative stages of sleep. So you're out, but you're not actually getting the benefits. It's like eating cardboard when you're hungry.
It fills you up, but it doesn't nourish you. And they don't fix the root problem.
Correct. The second you stop the pill, the insomnia comes roaring back, often worse.
Which is that rebound insomnia they mentioned.
Exactly. So if pills are a dead end for long-term relief, what's the alternative?
Enter CBTI. The sources call this the first-line approach, recommended by NICE in the UK. The people who decide what actually works in medicine.
And let's be clear what that means. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. Don't let the word therapy fool you. This isn't lying on a couch talking about your childhood.
It sounds more like a boot camp for your brain.
It is. It's structured. The cognitive part deals with the anxiety about sleep. The behavioral part deals with your actual habits.
The stats from SleepStation are pretty wild. They claim it's effective for over 80% of people. And these aren't people with just an occasional bad night. These are chronic sufferers.
That 80% figure is significant. It works because it targets the actual mechanism, the sleep drive, and the body clock.
I love the success stories in the SleepStation source. There's Yvonne, 65 years old. She'd had troubled sleep for 30 years.
30 years. Imagine being tired for 3 decades.
And on meds for 20 of them. She did the program and called it life-changing. It just shows you that the brain can be retrained at any age.
He really doesn't have an expiration date.
And then there's Bob, this one.
Wow.
Bob is 93 years old.
93.
He said he was amazed that he could simply put his head on the pillow and fall asleep again. He hadn't done that in years.
And that just drives home the point. You are not broken. If a 93-year-old brain can relearn how to sleep, yours can too.
Okay, so let's get into the how. The listener's probably thinking, great for Bob, but what do I do? Dr. Salem calls these the golden rules.
I call this the tough love phase, because these rules are simple, but they are miserable to execute, especially when you're exhausted.
Rule number 1, the fixed wake-up time.
This is the anchor. You have to wake up at the same time every single day. 7 a.m. on Monday, 7 a.m. on Saturday, and here's the kicker.
Even if you had a terrible night.
Even if you had a terrible night.
Ouch. So I toss and turn till 5 a.m., finally fall asleep, my alarm goes off at 7, I have to get up.
You have to get up.
That feels like punishment. Why can't I just sleep in and catch up?
Because of the body clock. Your brain needs a reliable anchor. If you sleep in until 11 a.m., you've just told your body that morning is now midday. You're basically giving yourself jet lag.
Social jet lag. Right. So I'm flying to a different time zone every weekend.
Exactly. And if you wake up at 11, you won't have built up enough sleep hunger to fall asleep at a normal time that night.
Yeah.
By forcing yourself up at 7, even on 4 hours sleep, you are protecting the next night's sleep.
So no lions. Okay. I get it, even if I hate it. But rule number 2 might be even tougher. The 20-minute rule.
This is the one people resist the most. It's 3 a.m., you're cozy, it's cold outside the duvet. The last thing you want to do is get up. But the rule is strict. If you're awake for more than 20 minutes, or you just feel wide awake, you must get out of bed.
Why? Why not just lie there and rest?
Physically, maybe, but psychologically it's poison. Your brain is an association machine. If you spend hours lying in bed awake and frustrated, your brain starts to link bed with stress and anxiety.
The bed becomes the trigger for being awake.
Exactly. You lie down and your brain says, oh, this place, this is where we worry. We want a strict equation. Bed equals sleep. If you aren't sleeping, you shouldn't be in bed.
So you get up, what do? Stare at the fridge?
No. Go to another room, keep the lights dim, do something boring, read a book, listen to quiet music. Do not look at your phone. And you only go back to bed when you feel that heavy eyelid sleepiness.
And if you're still awake 20 minutes later?
You get up again. You repeat the process.
That sounds exhausting.
It is, but you are breaking a conditioned response. You're retraining your brain.
Rule number 3 is about naps. Strict nap restriction.
This goes back to the sleep hunger.
Yeah.
If you're trying to build a massive appetite for dinner, your night's sleep, you can't be snacking all day. Napping is snacking on sleep.
The guide says if you must nap, 20 to 30 minutes max, and never after 2 p.m.
Right. A short power nap is like a cracker. A 2-hour nap at 4 p.m. is like eating a burger before dinner. You just won't have the sleep drive you need.
Okay, so we've got the tough rules. Now let's talk about the hygiene. Not washing your hands, but sleep hygiene.
Yes, the habits and the chemistry.
Let's start with caffeine. We all know not to drink an espresso at 10 p.m., but the cutoff time in the guide is, well, it's shocking.
The recommendation is no caffeine after 2 p.m.
2 p.m. That's barely after lunch.
It is. But caffeine has a very long half-life.
Yeah.
It stays in your system for hours. And it's not just coffee. It's tea, cola, and this is a big one, pre-workout supplement.
Oh, good point. That 6 p.m. gym session.
You could be chemically keeping yourself awake at midnight.
And then there's alcohol, the nightcap. So many people swear by it.
I call this the Trojan horse of sleep. While alcohol is a sedative, it might help you lose consciousness faster. It destroys the quality of your sleep.
So you pass out, but you don't actually rest?
Exactly. It suppresses REM sleep, and then as it wears off in the middle of the night, your body gets a rebound alertness that wakes you up. So it helps you fall asleep, but it prevents you from staying asleep.
We can't talk about modern sleep without screens, the blue light factor.
It's all about melatonin. Melatonin is the vampire hormone. It only comes out in the dark. Blue light from your phone mimics sunlight and tells your brain, hey, it's noon, be alert.
The guide suggests a buffer zone. Stop screens 60 minutes before bed.
And if you absolutely can't, use night mode, turn the brightness way down, but you need to bore your brain, not stimulate it with news alerts.
And instead of scrolling, do a wind-down routine. It mentions the 4-7-8 breathing exercise.
That's a great one. It's biological. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It mechanically slows your heart rate and signals your nervous system that you are safe. It's a manual override for stress.
So we have the rules, the hygiene, but here's the reality. Finding a therapist to do this is hard. It's expensive. There are waiting lists. This is where the digital side of our source stack is so interesting.
It's a game changer for accessibility. SleepStation, Sleepio, Sleepful, these are digital CBTI platforms. They turn that therapy into a structured online program.
How do they work? Sleepio is a web course, right?
Hello.
6 sessions. It starts with a sleep score.
Right, Sleepio is very structured, like an online class. It uses an algorithm to personalize the advice.
Then there's SleepStation. That one is actually NHS funded in many parts of the UK.
And SleepStation seems to have more human support. They emphasize sleep coaches, real humans checking your sleep diaries and giving feedback. That accountability is crucial.
And Sleepful is an app which focuses on the sleep diary.
Which is the most important tool. You have to track the data to see the patterns. You might feel like you slept terribly, but the diary might show you got 6 hours.
Okay, we need to pause for a serious warning here. You mentioned the dip, and this is important for anyone listening who wants to try this tonight.
Yes, we have to manage expectations. The sources all say it takes 2 to 4 weeks to see results, but, and this is a big bet, but for the first few nights, maybe even the first week, your sleep might feel worse.
Worse, that is not a great sales pitch. Try this new method, you'll feel terrible.
I know, but it's the reality of it. If you're forcing yourself up at 7 a.m. after only sleeping 3 hours and you aren't napping, you are going to be tired. You're going to be grumpy. Your brain will rebel.
So you have to prepare for a rough start.
You do. But that fatigue is the medicine. You are building up that massive sleep drive so that eventually your body has no choice but to sleep through the night. You have to push through the dip.
It's like starting a new workout. The first week you're sore, but that means it's working. You're tearing down muscle to build it back stronger.
That is the perfect analogy. You're tearing down bad habits to build a robust sleep cycle.
So if we look at the big picture, the takeaway is that insomnia isn't a disease you catch. It's a habit you learn.
Exactly. It's a learned pattern.
Yeah.
And because it's learned, it can be unlearned. The cure isn't in a bottle. It's in your behavior. It's about fixed wake times, getting out of bed, and protecting your sleep drive.
It's empowering, really, but it requires work. You have to be an active participant.
You do. As Dr. Salem says, patterns can be retrained. Start small. Stay consistent.
I want to leave everyone with a thought that really struck me. We spend so much energy trying to control sleep. We have trackers, apps, special pillows. We try to force it.
But you can't force a surrender. And sleep is a biological surrender.
Exactly. The sources seem to suggest the secret is actually trusting your body. Your body knows how to sleep. It's been doing it for millions of years. So the question is, if you stop trying to force it tonight and just followed the rhythm, what would happen?
That is the question. Trust the system. Stop fighting the beast and just retrain the animal.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Hopefully tonight is a little more restful.
Ideally, you won't even hear the end of this sentence.
We'll catch you next time.